Back in 1984, Rakesh Sharma, the very first Indian astronaut to go into space, had a conversation with Prime Minister Indira Gandhi from orbit. When she asked him how the country looked from all the way up there, he replied that it looked better than the whole world. But what exactly makes this specific land look so unique from above? It comes down to India being a subcontinent, a landmass large enough to pack almost every global geographical feature into one single border. To see how these features fit together, let's build a map from scratch. We will populate the country on the left while building out our notes together on the right. Think of this empty space as 5 distinct worlds. Each one has its own climate, landscape, and resources, all joined together to form one nation. By exploring these 5 geological zones, we can see exactly how over 1 billion people manage to live, farm, and survive across such wildly different terrains. Let's start at the top. Millions of years ago, the land that is now India was floating on its own, drifting north. It eventually crashed right into the Asian continent. The sheer force of that slow-motion collision caused the ground to crumple and rise upward. That massive wrinkle in the earth gave us our first region, the Himalayas. We can add this to our map in the north and log it as our first branch in the notes. This mountain range acts like a giant wall. Some of the peaks here stretch over 8,000 meters straight up into the sky, holding massive amounts of snow and ice. When summer arrives, that ice begins to melt. The runoff feeds into huge river systems like the Ganga and the Indus, providing fresh drinking and farming water for hundreds of millions of people downstream. So this giant wall does 2 vital jobs at once. It blocks freezing winds from the north from sweeping across the land, and it acts as a massive water source, keeping the rest of the country hydrated. Following the melting mountain water southward spills into our second region, the northern plains. The flowing water makes this region incredibly green and perfect for agriculture. But moving just west, that abundant water disappears entirely, bringing us to zone number 3, the desert. Here in the Thar Desert, the conditions are harsh. During the day, the sand bakes under extreme heat, and at night, temperatures plummet. Finding fresh water is a constant daily challenge. Because resources are so scarce, people have to adapt. Instead of spreading out, they build highly concentrated cities protected by thick walls, rising straight out of the sand. These 2 zones sitting side by side show us how the landscape dictates human life. Where there is river water, millions can farm with ease. Where there is only sand, communities must change how they live just to survive. Moving down into the southern half of India, we find our 4th region. This large triangular area is a peninsula, which is simply a piece of land surrounded by water on 3 sides. We call it the Peninsular Plateau. This section holds some very old rocks. In fact, the Aravalli Hills located here are about 2.5 billion years old, making them some of the oldest mountains on Earth. Because the ground here is packed with heavy stone and rich minerals, early builders had the perfect materials right beneath their feet to construct massive, heavy forts directly into the ridges. And in the deep, dense forests of this plateau, ancient tribal communities continue to live in close connection with this old, unmoving nature. While the northern parts of India are shaped by the constant movement of melting snow and flowing rivers, this southern region is defined by its ancient, unyielding stone. Finally, we reach the outer fringes of our map, the coastal borders and the island chains. Let's lock in our last regions and finish our notes. Out in the ocean, India has 2 distinct groups of islands. On the west, Lakshadweep is made of coral reefs built up over time. On the east, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands have a much more violent origin. They are volcanic. This geology is still active because this region is home to India's only active volcano, occasionally sending smoke and lava up into the sky. Back on the mainland coasts, the giant rivers we saw earlier finally meet the sea. As they slow down, they fan out into multiple streams, creating lush, wet areas called deltas, like the dense mangrove forests of the Sundarbans. These fringes act as dynamic, ever-shifting borders. Unlike the plateau's hard stone, the land here is constantly being reshaped by the rhythm of the tides and the flow of the rivers. Take a look at the picture we've built. We have our complete map of India on the left and a full 5-branch breakdown of its physical features on the right. When you look at this, you have to ask, what happens when you force a freezing mountain range, a scorching desert, ancient rock plateaus, and tropical islands to all share one national border? You get radical diversity. The environment forces the people living in each of these zones to eat different food, wear different clothing, and build completely different types of homes to thrive in their local conditions. In the extremely wet forested hills of the Northeast, locals don't build bridges out of stone or steel. They guide the roots of living trees across rivers to form natural walkways. They use exactly what their specific part of the country provides. Physical geography is the very foundation of India's incredible cultural variety. For your assignment today, copy this final mind map into your notes. Then drop a comment below telling us which of these 5 regions you live in and how the geography affects your daily life.